As we wrap up our program, I'd like to ask each of our panelists to share some final thoughts. Don, let's start with you. We talked a lot about a number of issues today, but I'm curious, what keeps you up late at night?
Well, sometimes it's my husband snoring, quite honestly. However,
Beyond
there's
that.
beyond that, I'm glad he can sleep when I'm thinking of things. But I think there's a big picture. Everything comes together, and it's how can I make sure this is all here for my kids and then their kids. Our kids are getting close. They're in college, and they're going to have their way into the beef industry where they want to be or where they can find a good fit. But I know they have a pretty big ambition, at least one of them, to come back to our operation. Mm-hmm. How can I make sure it's there for the next generation after that? So it's about us and earning a living right now and making the right choices to make sure consumers want to eat what we're growing and they enjoy what we're growing. But then let's make sure that continues for the next 100 years too.
What are the biggest challenges for that next generation, do you think?
I think capital investment is one of them. If we can't just deed things over to them, how are they going to have enough money to do things? And when you think about you go purchase a piece of pasture right now, between payments and taxes, we're looking at $75 to $90 per cow fixed cost just in land payments. So can they do that and stock a pasture? That's tough. That's really tough. So there's capital investments that are a challenge, and then there's other opportunities potentially tugging them away. And so how do we keep them really wanting to do it? And everybody should go where their heart directs them, but somebody's got to be here to wake up at night during the snowstorms and check the cows too.
Absolutely. John, as a feeder, what keeps you up late at night?
Well, I guess I would take it from a broader perspective, and that's the entire beef industry, not just a feeder, because we look at it very much as we're all in this together kind of thing. I really have concern about our ability to penetrate these export markets. We have a lot of we're making a lot of meat in the country today, and I'm nervous that if we don't figure out a way to get access to the larger community, it could be really detrimental to our pricing structure. I guess the other one that I would add is our pricing structure in the beef industry. We don't send the right signals. We get signals as a feeder to they're economic in nature and make a product that in many cases is not the ideal product for the consumer. And as we're trying to increase demand, Kevin, we have got to figure that out so that we can be competitive with the other protein sources, and that we can get connected, the end user community to the processing community, to the feeding, to the cow-calf community, and we are working together to address that specifically, and we don't have a system that allows that today.
That's a huge challenge. Yeah. Kevin, what are some of your concerns?
Similar to Don's, what we can do to be sustainable and successful for the next generation. June and I, in the last few months, became grandparents for the first time, so now I'm even thinking about the 7th generation to stay in business within our family in California. So at the top of that list is regulatory pressure and the cost of complying with regulations. That's at the top of the list, and we need to address those things.
Clint, what are your concerns?
Well, I would say the political environment and our ability to be, as an industry, and then not just our industry, but a lot of industries, to be sustainable. We like to use that word. The key in sustainability is economics. And the overbearing regulations that we continue to try to face an uphill battle. I mean, let's be honest, production agriculture is about 2% of the population. So when it comes to votes and that environment, it's hard for us to make a difference there because we're not casting large numbers like that. But we're the most vital industry there is in this country. The other side of it, I would say, would be the labor issue, as far as having a harder time for young people to come back to the farm. The generation behind me is going to have a tougher time than I did, that's for certain. However, I'm kind of a glasses half full guy, and I believe that's also a great opportunity, because there's select few of us that know how to handle beef, know how to graze, know how to handle those cattle, and in all of agriculture, to know how to feed the world. There's an opportunity for young people in our industry, whether that's direct production or a service entity of agriculture. I mean, I look at it as a greater opportunity than anything. I don't think there's a better time to be in the beef business than there is right now.
Thank you all for your perspective. Now remember, for additional information and videos, visit our website, cattlemen2cattlemen.org. And for more information about NCBA, go to the website beefusa.org.